To the Nigerian national anthem, Mr. Albert Congo raises the flag of the new nation.
Welcome to Orishirishi Media. Today, we're discussing the history and impact of Nigeria's first and second national anthems. In this video, we explore the introduction of both songs and the changing attitudes of the people of this great West African nation-state. Which of these melodic mantras deserve your allegiance? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Sociopolitical Origins. In the late 1950s, Nigeria was on the verge of independence from Britain's empire. The territory appeared to be turning a new corner after centuries of challenges, from overcoming the slave trade to contending with the amalgamation of hundreds of tribes, and now bringing colonial rule to an end. Apparently in good faith, the colonial government led by Sir James Robertson made a nationwide call for the creation of some new national symbols.
If you look at the coat of arms, it looks very beautiful.
Beautiful.
I mean, if we had the two white horses, the red eagle, and see the greenery.
With the design of a new coat of arms commissioned to a British firm called Messrs. Beverly Pick Associated, a competition was announced in January 1959, affording members of the public the unique opportunity to create Nigeria's new anthem, national flag, and postage stamps. The contest offered budding writers a £100 prize, or $280 at the time, to capture the spirit of a sovereign Nigeria in a maximum of 3 stanzas with 6 lines each. The lyrics-only challenge was however open to both Nigerians and foreigners, prompting entries from neighboring African countries to Western nations. In the end, the designated committee chose an entry with the now familiar opening line, "Nigeria we hail thee."
Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand.
The submission was sent in by Lillian Jean Williams, an English worker at Nigeria's Ministry of Labor and Welfare. With the lyrics decided, a separate call was made for composers to come up with a tune. A prize of £1,000 was attached. At the end of that contest, a total of 3,693 compositions were sent in from far and wide. Subsequently, the shortlisted entries were broadcast for members of the public to discuss before a final choice was made. A panel of 6 Nigerian judges selected the top entry. The winner? British-born Mrs. Charles Kennett, a private music teacher and professional pianist using the pseudonym Francis Benda. On October 1, 1960, when Nigeria gained independence from Britain, "Nigeria We Hail Thee" became the national anthem. Self-governance seemed to begin on a promising note for the nation. The country stepped into sovereignty in 1960 as an independent constitutional monarchy, and by 1963, it had evolved into a republican government. But in the nearly 2 decades following this historic event, the country was plunged into one political crisis after another, with several of them stemming from underlying ethnic issues. On January 15, 1966, 6 army majors, predominantly of the Igbo tribe, staged a coup, terminating 22 political leaders, including Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa and the premiers of the northern and western regions, Sir Amadu Bello and Chief Samuel Ladoke Akintola.
I was in secondary class 4. That morning of the coup, I was in class 4. And what I felt, and I still feel today, was that Nigeria lost a moment of national unity.
Major General Johnson Agunyi Ironsi assumed office as the first military dictator, abolishing the 3 federal states and instituting a unitary government for the first time. He was killed in a counter-coup on July 29 of that year, leading to thousands of Igbo killings. This further degenerated for another year, with the eastern region announcing it was breaking away into an independent state named the Republic of Biafra. A civil war broke out on July 6, 1967, and lasted until January 13, 1970, claiming possibly up to 3 million lives. 2 more coups followed, resulting in the controversial creation of new states, and the country found itself more divided than ever.
The overthrow of strongman Major General Yakubu Gowon reportedly was engineered by the head of his personal bodyguards.
The military regime of General Olusegun Obasanjo sought to steer the Nigerian people towards a shared sense of unity and shed some of the country's ties to its colonial past. After successfully adopting a patriotic pledge written by Professor Felicia Adebola Adeyoyin in June 1976, Obasanjo's government decided it was time for a new national anthem. Following a nationwide call for entries by Nigerians, 5 were chosen, namely P.O. Aderibigbe, John A. Iliechukwu, Dr. Sota Omoigui, Eme Etim Akpan, and B.A. Ogunaike. Their poems were interwoven into 2 stanzas beginning with "Arise, O Compatriots." But those were just the lyrics. The tune was then provided by the music director of the Nigerian police band, Benedict Odiasi, and the anthem became official on October 1, 1978. Music structure and lyrical content. Composed in E minor with a 2/2 time signature at a moderate tempo, the lyrics of "Nigeria We Hail Thee" emphasizes the country's sovereignty and brotherhood amongst citizens of different cultures. The anthem portrays a sense of reverence and honor for a nation that has gotten through numerous challenges and adversities. One reviewer notes that the word "hail" reflects admiration and respect, acknowledging the resilience and strength of the Nigerian people in the face of adversity. The anthem is further described as progressing into a celebration of Nigeria's diversity and unity, with an emphasis on the importance of togetherness and overcoming differences.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land.
In one critic's words, the line, "Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand," highlights the rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions that coexist within Nigeria. The reviewer adds that the closing stanza serves as a call to action, urging Nigerians to march forward in unity towards greatness and prosperity. "Arise, O Compatriots," on the other hand, was composed in F major and has a simple 4/4 common time with a tempo of 106 beats per minute. Professor Emurubume Idolo and Dr. Sunday Ufuani, in their thesis on the content and significance of the second anthem, explain that the music is purely strophic in structure, meaning that the 2 stanzas is sung with the same tune. Bola Akinterinwa, a professor of international relations, analyzed the lyrics of both songs in his This Day newspaper's column. In it, he takes the stance that the second anthem assumes that a Nigerian nation already exists, and that the nation is either slumbering or sleeping, hence the need for arising to serve the fatherland. In serving the fatherland, he notes that God is asked to direct and guide Nigerian leaders to help, quote, "our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty heights attain." Akinterinwa argues that "Nigeria We Hail Thee" was an anthem of patriotism, of better days to come, and of a special expression of gratitude and a plea to God Almighty for a better, self-reliant Nigeria. To this end, before the anthem was changed, its essence had been completely neutralized in the professor's point of view. He supports this position with the argument that the line, "Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand," became meaningless in the 1962 crises in the Western region, the January 1966 coup and the counter-coup that followed in the country, and the 1967 to 1970 Civil War. Akinterinwa concluded that there was no semblance of brotherhood or any genuine intention to build a Nigerian nation, but all that was done was a mere promotion of ethnic politics and self-preservation. The colonialism versus idealism debate.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Majesty.
Prior to Nigeria's independence in 1960, the official chorus sung by citizens was "God Save the Queen," which was the shared anthem of all British colonies at the time. In Tafawa Balewa's 1960 Independence Day speech, after commending his fellow nationals on the realization of the country's long-awaited freedom and acknowledging the British for their evolution from so-called masters to partners and friends, he ended with one final salute to the monarchy. Closing out his speech, he declared, quote, "And so, with God Save Our Queen, I open a new chapter in the history of Nigeria and of the Commonwealth, and indeed of the world. From then on, the Nigerian people would only pledge allegiance to their nation-state. Many were clearly thrilled about the national song that signaled the dawn of this new political era, and so they sang it with pride. For one, it served as an avenue to bid colonialism goodbye and embrace its identity as a sum of many parts. Shola Ebishieni, a prominent Yoruba figure, shared this view of a diverse Nigeria in an op-ed for Vanguard newspapers, noting that Sir Amadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto and Northern Premier, appreciated the reality as a nation of entrenched nationalities. According to Ebishieni, Bello told fellow founding father and first Nigerian president, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, that it was better to discuss the differences among the various nationalities and religions so that they would understand one another and engender mutual respect. Taking a similar stance, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who is credited for championing Nigerian federalism, reportedly described the country as a mere geographical expression that metamorphosizes into nationhood, which was unrealized and remains still in the incubator. One might argue that these sentiments were not far off from the ideologies portrayed in Nigeria We Hail Thee. But then, the influence of the British monarchy would grow less in Nigeria as the country evolved into more of a republic. As the Nigerian Tribune notes, with Nigeria settling into its identity as an independent nation, many felt the anthem didn't quite capture the spirit and aspirations of its people. With ethnic tensions and political coups birthing full-on conflicts among the people, the song became the bane of the government. The military regime saw it as not only divisive, but also bearing remnants of the country's colonial past, and so it decided it was time for a new anthem. Incidentally, this school of thought lives on as of 2024. A blog titled From Lagos to the World notes that references to tribes underscore divisions rather than unity. Without downplaying the importance of diversity within society, the author argues that the emphasis on tribal identity can reinforce ethnic divisions rather than promote national solidarity. Furthermore, the term native land is believed to carry colonial connotations that are outdated and exclusionary, harkening back to a time when Nigeria's identity was heavily impacted by its colonial past rather than its own rich cultural heritage.
In handing over the documents to the Federal Prime Minister, Alhaji Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Her Royal Highness handed over sovereignty to a new nation.
As another blog, Wale Marketer, states, many people cheered for the anthem because it praised the country's rich culture and history and showed how much Nigerians are expected to love their country. The blog described it as a national call for all Nigerians to serve their motherland with love and care, and as a great song that highlights the struggles of the national heroes before independence and talks about what the next generation hopes to achieve. According to the website, the anthem is better than its predecessor because it shows how every citizen is connected by a single cord, no matter where they live. However, there are some Nigerians in the past and present day who argue the country got it right the first time around. When the adoption of Arise O Compatriots was announced, it faced criticism from the Daily Service, a newspaper run by the Yoruba organization Egbe Omo Oduduwa. Writing in a 2017 column for the Nigerian Tribune, Vera Onana explained that in a bid to shed all vestiges of Nigeria's colonial heritage, the government blindly erased a crucial ingredient of the people's collective national greatness. The commentator holds the view that the original anthem was made up of deep words that captured inspiration, emotion, nationalism, unity, hope, and progress, all of which were arguably washed away in the, quote, torrential downpour of half-hearted nationalistic fervor merged with impatience to brandish the green freedom we were doled. With opposition that strong, there's little wonder the second anthem was retired in 2024. The old becomes the new. By 2014, feelings of cultural marginalization and intolerance had reached a head, so the president at the time, Goodluck Jonathan, organized a national conference with about 490 delegates from virtually all spheres of the Nigerian populace. One of the major recommendations of the conference was the reinstatement of the original national anthem. After a change of government in 2015, the report resulting from that national discourse was shelved by President Muhammadu Buhari. 9 years later, his successor, President Bola Tinubu, signed a bill into law that discontinued Arise O Compatriots as the national anthem and reinstated Nigeria We Hail Thee as its replacement. Reports uncovering plans to change the anthem were first reported on May 23, 2024, after a so-called secret session of the Senate. Shockingly, in under a week, the bill had reportedly gone through all 3 readings and was signed into law, just in time for the commemoration of Tinubu's 1 year in office on May 29. The lightning-fast legislative process was met with an overwhelming feeling of outrage among Nigerians. Many found it difficult to understand the need to prioritize a change of national anthem when the economy had depressed to record lows. Dr. Segun Showunmi, a member of the opposition, shared his dismay on X, stating that nothing told of the signs of a state capture and civilian dictatorship than the audacity to change a national anthem which Nigerians created to one that was, quote, a relic of colonialism. He also criticized that it happened in such a jiffy without a properly engaged and discussed public conversation on such a soulful issue. Even Omoigui, one of the composers of the retired anthem, could not hide his disappointment in the decision to bring back the 1960 version. He described the change as, quote, regressive and a betrayal of our independence. The poet reminisced on the work he put into the creation of the second anthem, noting that when he wrote the words for the anthem in 1978, it was his dream for the country to move forward and take its place among the great nations of the world. With a reversion to the first anthem, however, his takeaway is that the country's leaders do not have the foggiest idea of the meaning of patriotism. In the face of resounding disapproval of the first anthem's reinstatement, President Tinubu expressed his agreement with the National Assembly's decision, insisting that he was simply performing his presidential duty by providing assent to the bill.
Who gave us the name Nigeria? Is it not Britain or somewhere? Have we changed our name?
Some Nigerians are, however, defiant. Days after the anthem change, Aisha Yesufu, a well-known activist, challenged the decision at a public gathering, refusing to stand up as the reinstated national anthem was sung.
For me, that's an obnoxious law, and the National Assembly have things that they need to focus on. If they are not ashamed of themselves, we the citizens of Nigeria are ashamed on their behalf.
Now, regardless of if this battle of wills ever finds resolution, we consider it fair to state that while Nigerians can always find commonality in green, white, green, what constitutes patriotism to each one may never be so black and white. Now tell us, 1960 anthem or 1978? Where does your allegiance lie? Share with us in the comments below. Did you enjoy this video? Please consider subscribing for more videos like this. We would also love for you to give us a like, comment, and share. Thank you for watching.